Good Yontif. I am Mari Chernow, along with my dear, beloved colleagues, cantorial soloist and music director Shelley Fox, cantorial intern Jenny Asher, rabbis Calvin Dox DaCosta and Michelle Masagia, who will be joining us in a few moments, Simone Vitucci, Michael Alfera, and our extraordinary choir. It is our great honor to begin this sacred evening when the gates of heaven open up, and though our prayers are welcome from anywhere in any place, on this night we add a measure of heartfelt depth to our prayers. We imagine that perhaps we are speaking directly to God, that we have God's undivided attention for one day. It's my pleasure to invite our guests, our very own Rabbi Josie Hudson, who's here with Rook, Yvonne Figueroa. Yeah, you can tell her you're happy to see her. That's great. Our other dear friends from LA Voice, Yvonne Figueroa, Rachel Bishop, Jordan Salvatari. Did I get everybody? Yes. Okay. Wonderful to have you all. No, not quite. Did I miss you? I know. Sorry. Who am I missing? Patrick? Okay. Good to have you guys here. As we enter this beautiful sacred night, just a reminder that before we get to the actual prayer, we begin the evening with a legal formula. The scrolls are outside of the ark. They will stand here in just a few moments as our witnesses. The ark stands open, and on this day in which we confront our mortality, we are supposed to take ourselves to the space that we are looking into an open grave. We are really facing our own mortality so that we run back to life, to live it as fully as possible. Kol Nidre is a complicated prayer because we ask to be released from our vows, and there are many different ways to think about it, but at this season, at this time, when we are committing to be the very best possible versions of ourselves we can be, we're so sincere, we mean it so much, and at the same time, we know that there will be moments when we come up short, there will be moments when we fail. And so in advance of those moments, we ask for God's forgiveness. We ask for each other's forgiveness. We ask to forgive ourselves. Let's take a couple of deep breaths as we settle into being here together. I always feel like a moment of this, like this, we are at the nexus of those who came before us and those who are yet to come. There are so many people in this room who we may not see in this room. So many people we are holding and bringing with us. I'd like to invite, as representative of all of those we're remembering, I'd like to invite anybody who faced a loss within the past year to please come light one of these yahrzeit candles that are up here on the bima. I'd also like to take just one moment to acknowledge Rabbi John Rosov. So wonderful to be praying here with you. You can let him know you're happy to see him. And with the lights of our past here on the bima, I'd like to invite the lights of our future, our teens who bring so much light, so much joy to our world and our Jewish community, to please come on in. As the lights go off, I want to invite everybody to worry a little less about reading the words on the page, being in exactly the right spot, and worry a little bit more about being fully present in this beautiful and sacred moment.
Or zaru ala tzaddik
please rise. As we welcome the scrolls. I'd like to welcome our past presidents carrying the scrolls. Hineni. I am here, I am here. I stand before the open ark and the eternal scrolls of our people dressed in white light. I stand ready to enter into the holy days, to offer prayers that urge me to live better, kinder, ever present in the pain of others, to become a compassionate vessel, trustworthy, holding hope in the midst of despair. Hineni, I am here, I am here. I stand on the edge between earth and heaven, between what I know and what I can never understand, between life and life everlasting. Mortality hovers, a rippling presence, always there, lingering, waiting, holding. I am here.
Hineni, I am here. I stand resilient, determined, though I have been taken down, forced to live in a different way. The rhythm of life has been altered. Time unfolds and morphs, expands, and stands still. I have been called to be present, to pay attention. What have I learned? What have I done with the time I have been given, glorious time of never-ending possibility? Have I squandered the beauty, the radiance of life, an offering to my inner being? Who am I? Where have I gone astray? Am I worthy to pray with my people? May I be worthy to pray with my people.
Hear my plea. Grant me the faith, courage, and wisdom to enter into Cheshbon HaNefesh, the fragility and humility of self-examination. Hineni, I am here. I am here. May this fractured heart soften and hold love, compassion in a way that has never before. Hineni, I am here.
Hineni, מפחד יושב תהילות ישראל. באתי לעמוד ולהתחנן לפניך על עמך ישראל אשר שלחוני. אף על פי שאיני חדל והגון לכך, על כן אבקש ממך, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק, אלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי לאה ואלוהי רחל. אדוני, אדוני, אל רחום וחנון, אלוהי ישראל, שודד איום ונורא, היינה מצליח דרכי, אשר אנוכי הולך לעמוד לבקש, רחמים עלי ועל שולחי.
Kol Nidre.
בישיבה של מעלה ובישיבה של מטה, על דעת המקום ועל דעת הקהל, אנו מתירים להתפלל עם העברים, by the authority of all who congregate above and all those who congregate here on earth, and with the permission of the omnipresent one and by the consent of this congregation, we accept all who seek to pray or to engage in self-reflection, self-evaluation, and self-judgment, along with all those who have done wrong.
Kol Nidre, a chant that begins in a whisper, rises to a cry. On this night of promises remembered, each soul in solitude communes with the soul of the universe. God, from this day of atonement to the next, may each and every one of us reach it in peace. We all make these vows to turn from wrong, dishonesty, and greed, to walk down the paths of justice and righteousness. And yet we know our weakness, how capable we are of falling short. Help us to keep our word. Help us to act with humility and integrity. We seek pardon and forgiveness. We seek your radiance and light. We are what we are, and we are doing our best.
Oh
If we could turn the lights back on. To light our festival candles, it's my pleasure to invite up Leah, Deanne, Adam, and Julia. Our staff has carried out so many incredible heavy lifts as we have prepared for these high holy days. So representing the TIOH staff, would you please light the candles? When do I go? And Alba. Hit me.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shel Yom HaKippurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'eheyanu
They're there. Would you take a moment and greet the folks around you? Make sure you know their name. Wish them a Shana Tova.
We're on page 127. 127, please rise. We face east for Baruch Hu.
בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Page 128.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נולד תהילות עושה פלא, מלכותך ראו בניך, או קיים לפני משה ומרים, זה לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך בעולם האל.
So I don't know why I never put together that there are no zeros in Hebrew. You know how Aleph is 1, Bet is 2, Gimel is 3? There's no zero. I just figured that out this year. And so now I've been droshing on it, so bear with me. Perhaps zero implies nothingness, and from a Jewish point of view, there was never nothing. There was always God. Always an energy that animates the universe, even before our universe existed. And think of how we say forever and ever or infinity in Hebrew, right? We say Ein Sof, which is another word for God. Or we say le'olam va'ed, which literally means the world forever. However, olam, world, also means hidden, concealed, like a locked door. The olam, the world, is ne'elam, is a hidden mystery. So as we sing Hashkivenu now, asking for the courage to lay down, to turn off our brains that think about zeros all the time, and we relax into sleep, and we let go of controlling and leaning into the infinite, not knowing of the world. Hashkivenu 129.
Hashkivenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, Leshalom, Leshalom. Hashkivenu, Hashkivenu, Adonai.
Page 131, we rise for our first Amidah of Yom Kippur.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open my lips that my mouth may declare your glory. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Leah, Elohei Rachel, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor והנורא, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גואל לפני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. זוכרנו לחיים, מלך הפרת בחיים, וכתבנו בספר החיים, למענך אלוהים חיים. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. ברוך שמו. מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע מוריד הטל. מחלקל חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סולל נופלים ורופא חולים, ומציל אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני אחר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, וליטול אליו, מלך נמיך ומחייב, ומצליח ישועה. מי כמוך, אב הרחמים, זוכר יצוריו, בחיים ברחמים. ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני. ברוך שמו. מחיי המתים.
Together on 133. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kodosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom ya'alu chasela, baruch ata Adonai, ha'el ha'kadosh.
אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום.
אתה הוא מלך הדור, לכל השלום.
וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום,
ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה.
ברכה ושלום, ניזכר וניכתב לפניך, אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל.
חיים טובים ושלום.
ברוך אתה אדוני עושה השלום.
There is so much power in the public and communal confessions that this season asks us to engage in. And so as we recite the alphabet of wrongdoing throughout all of our Yom Kippur services, the clergy will interject a few communal confessions from our community. Not from our machzor, but from our people, our friends, our neighbors. These are all anonymous. We asked members of our community to contribute wrongdoings, shortcomings, failures from this past year, moments they want back. And so throughout our services, you will hear some of these anonymous confessions. And yes, there is power in the communal and the public. And there's also a lot of power in the personal. We turn now to page 138. As we begin our confessions, we invite those who are able to rise.
ולא חטאנו,
Let us read together. Our God, our ancients' God, may our prayer come before you. Hide not from our supplication, for we are not so insolent and stubborn as to say, here in your presence, Holy One, God of our fathers and mothers, we are righteous, we have not sinned, for we indeed have sinned. We have all committed offenses. Together we confess these human sins. The sins of arrogance, bigotry, and cynicism, of deceit and egotism, flattery and greed, hatred, injustice, and jealousy. Some of us kept grudges, were lustful, malicious, and narrow-minded. Others were obstinate, possessive, quarrelsome, rancorous, selfish. We callously used others. There was violence, weakness of will, xenophobia. We yielded to temptation, showed zeal for bad causes.
Page 139. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך באונס וברצון, for the wrong we have committed against you under duress or by choice. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזדון ובשגגה, for the wrong we have committed against you consciously or unconsciously. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בגלוי ובסתר, and for the wrong we have committed against you openly or secretly. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהרהור הלב, for the wrong we have committed against you in our hearts and minds. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בדיבור פה, for the wrong we have committed against you with our words. ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחוזק יד, and for the wrong we have committed against you by the abuse of power. ועל כולם halev, for the wrong we have committed against you by hardening our hearts. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בחילול השם, for the wrong we have committed against you by profaning your name. ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בזלזול הורים ומורים, and for the wrong we have committed against you by disrespect for parents and teachers. על חטא שחטאנו לפניך בלשון הרע, for the wrong we have committed against you by malicious gossip. ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך במשא ובמתן, for the wrong we have committed against you by dishonesty in our work. ועל חטא שחטאנו לפניך בהונאת רעך, for the wrong we have committed against you by hurting others in any way.
I made a decision that was good for me even though I knew it would hurt someone else. I lashed out at those around me rather than turning inward and being reflective about where my feelings were coming from. I lost the balance of work and family time. I was not as patient and compassionate as I wanted to be with a friend who was going through a hard couple of months. I let anxiety get the best of me. Instead of seeing something that was so great right in front of me, I focused on the negatives and the what-ifs, and I pushed someone away because of it. I stormed out of a tough conversation rather than engaging with what was challenging me. I stopped talking to my sister. I always blamed her for our bad relationship, but I see now that at least 50% of the problem is me. I wish I had remained in better contact with friends who moved away both physically and emotionally. I wish I had spent more time with my father when he was dying. I wish I could tell myself I was already doing enough to pull my head out of the fog and see how much I had completed, not just how much farther I had to go. I want to give more love. God of forgiveness, please forgive us, pardon us, help us atone. We turn to page 144. Ki anu amecha. You may be seated.
Ki anu amecha ve'ata malkeinu. Anu vanecha ve'ata avinu. Anu nachalatecha ve'ata goraleinu.
Israeli poet Yuda Amichai wrote, "My father was God and he didn't know it. He gave me the 10 Commandments, not in thunder and not in anger, not in fire and not in a cloud, but gently and with love. And then he turned his face to me one last time. And on the day he died in my arms, he said, I'd like to add 2 more commandments. The 11th commandment, thou shalt not change. And the 12th commandment, thou shalt change. You will change. Friends, now is our time to change. Avinu Malkeinu, page 145. Please rise. Shma kolenu, chus v'rachem aleinu. Hear our voice, spare us, show us compassion. Avinu malkeinu, ptach sha'arei shamayim litfilatenu. Open the gates of heaven to our prayer. Avinu malkeinu, te'e hasha'a hazot sha'at rachamim ve'et ratzon milfanecha. Let this hour be an hour of compassion and a time of acceptance in your presence. Avinu Malkeinu, Harem Kerem Yisrael Amecha. Give strength and vision to your people, Israel. Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Lema'an Harugim Al Shem Kodshecha. Remember those slain for their love of your name. Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Lema'an Ba'e Va'esh Uvamayim Al Kiddush Mecha. Remember those who went through fire and water for your sake. Avinu Malkeinu, Aseh Lema'ancha V'Hoshienu. Be mindful of us and help us. Avinu Malkeinu, Kalei Dever V'Cherev V'Ra'av Me'aleinu. Remove from all your children disease, war, famine, exile, and destruction. Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu B'Sefer Slicha Umchila. Inscribe us in the book of forgiveness and reconciliation. Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu B'Sefer Chaim Tovim. Inscribe us for blessing in your book of life and goodness. Avinu Malkeinu, Kotvenu B'Sefer Geula V'Shua. Inscribe us in the book of redemption and freedom. Avinu Malkeinu, Chonenu Va'anenu, Ki Ein Banu Ma'asim. Aseh imanu tzedakah v'chesed v'hoshienu. Be gracious with us and respond to us, for we have too few good deeds. Place in our hearts the inspiration and the will to act righteously, gently, and lovingly, and bring us meaning and salvation.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, ve'tapeinu.
About 20 years ago, I gave up the chance to be a superhero. Here's what I mean by that. After college, I spent 10 weeks on a NOLS course in the Pacific Northwest. NOLS is the National Outdoor Leadership School. It was a semester's worth of wilderness leadership training with backpacking, rock climbing, canoeing, and more. So much learning, so much awe, so much rain. From the moment I arrived at the branch, fellow students were talking about whether or not they would apply someday for a coveted spot on an IC, an instructor's course. You see, you can't help but admire NOLS instructors. They are rock stars, superheroes. They are strong, capable, courageous, resourceful. They can build a field hospital with what they carry in their packs. They could hike from here to Mount Everest, climb it, and be back to break the fast. They have that look that people do when they take on mountains for a living. Perfectly tan, absurdly fit, calm, cool. They can handle anything. I was in rabbinical school when I took my second NOLS course for outdoor educators in Alaska. A few months later, I got this call from NOLS. We want to know if you would think about applying for an IC. Oh, I said, thanks for calling, but I don't think I'd be accepted. And I listed all the things I had not been doing to prepare. I think maybe you would, the voice on the other end of the line said, but I didn't really believe her. And besides, I was busy. I had plans for the summer, rabbi things to do. I just couldn't veer from that path, take the chance. I don't think it would have changed the direction of my life, but dang, I could have been a rabbi and a superhero rock star. Missed opportunity. It takes the Torah only 6 chapters and 6 verses to get to the topic of regret. It is one of the first emotions explicitly ascribed to God. Just before the flood with Noah's Ark, we read, "Vayinachem Adonai ki asa et ha'adam be'aretz vayit'atzev al libo." And God regretted creating humanity on earth. It sorrowed God's heart. That's what regrets do. They fill us with sorrow. Author and columnist Daniel Pink identifies 4 different types of regrets. The first was my problem with that NOLS course. He calls that a boldness regret. A time when we look back and wish we had been more courageous, more willing to take a risk. We recognize it by this language. I was too afraid to do this. I really wanted to do that, but I decided to play it safe. I wish I had been braver, bolder. This is a very common regret. In fact, people who don't take a chance hold much more regret than people who do, even if that chance does not work out. It's not all measured by outcome. There's joy in simply going after what we want. The next type of regret is what Pink calls foundational. These are the ways in which we did not lay groundwork for a stronger future. I wish I had taken school more seriously. I wish I would have saved money throughout my career, and so on. We regret not doing what would have prepared us in advance. Then there are moral regrets. I hurt someone. I did something wrong. I violated my own priorities and values. I chose something else. Instant gratification, relief from my pain, whatever it was. I chose it over my morality. And finally, connective regrets. Relationships we don't have but we want to have, or relationships we want to strengthen but don't. These regrets sound like this. I didn't reach out. I thought it was too late. I thought it would be awkward or painful, or that the other person wouldn't care either way. For the most part, Pink has found in his research those things are untrue. It's not awkward. The other person does care. Pink teaches that if there is one thing to take from the thousands and thousands of people he has spoken to about regret, it is this: always reach out. Always reach out. Author Sarah Addison Allen writes, "People always say life is too short for regrets, but the truth is, it's too long. Emily Dickinson calls remorse the disease not even God can heal. She imagines actions of the past, or inactions, lingering, ghost-like, at every window and every door. Must that be so? Must we be haunted by regrets for the rest of our lives? Psychologists have found that the easier it is for us to envision a different outcome, the more likely we are to regret the past. The contrast between what happened and what could have happened can be unbearable. Harvard University's health newsletter tells the story of a British man who regularly played the same set of lottery numbers. One week, he failed to get his ticket, and guess what? His numbers came up, the winning numbers. That man was haunted by regret until he took his very last breath. It was so painful to him to come that close and to miss. What happened? Who knows? He forgot to stop at the store that day. He slept in a few extra minutes. He didn't take his usual route to work. One misstep led to a lifetime of regret. We can die of regret, or we can use it to live. The Talmud tells the following story. Rabbah and Rabbi Zera made a Purim feast together, and they got very drunk. Rabbah arose and slew Rabbi Zera. The next day, Rabbah prayed for mercy, and Rabbi Zera was given life. The next year, Rabbi Zera said to Rabbah, "Master, let us make a Purim feast together." Rabbah said, "A miracle does not occur each and every hour." Let's unpack that story. It starts like this. Two rabbis walk into a bar. They drink too much. Maybe they're young and stupid, or impulsive, or trying to prove something. Maybe there's money or a reputation on the line. Who knows? But something goes terribly wrong, and Rabbah kills Rabbi Zera. When Rabbah wakes up to realize what has happened, he is hit by an unbearable wave of regret. He prays with every fiber of his being for mercy. Mercy for his friend and mercy for himself. Because looking ahead, he knows that he will be tormented by regret for the rest of his life. Predicting that misery, he asks for mercy. You know that feeling, right? Wanting the miracle, the time machine, to press rewind for a few days or even just a few minutes. When words come out of your mouth and you just want to stuff them back in. When you lay down at night, recalling your day and cringe, thinking, did I really do that? When you see the look on someone's face and you know that right then, right there, a breach in the relationship has formed, and it's going to take a ton of work and a ton of time to repair it. The Talmud has a wild imagination, so Rabbah gets his miracle. With apologies to all those in this room who work there, do you think Disney invented that stuff? The sparkling stars that circle around after a character has died, Anna, the Beast, Eugene, Sleeping Beauty, it happens to them all. The music that tells us magic is happening. The reprieve is being granted. The Talmud took out that trick first. Rabbi Zera dies. Rabbah has killed him. And then he comes back to life. But then the story changes from a fantasy into something that is or can be remarkably real. It's about a year later. Rabbi Zera asks, "Hey dude, you want to have another Purim party?" Has he forgotten what happened? Rabbah, who endured just one day of excruciating regret, will not forget. A miracle doesn't happen every day. That's Talmud speak for, no thanks, I'm not doing that again. We can presume there was every reason to justify another Purim party. The story comes right after the commandment to drink on Purim. And in the end, the incident worked out fine. Rabbah could have called himself lucky and moved on. But his regret worked. It did what it's supposed to do: inform us for the sake of the future. What if every regret we've ever had is not about the past at all? It's about what comes next. What if we do have a time machine? We just keep pointing it in the wrong direction. It's about the future. Mindfulness meditation teacher Jack Kornfield shares this bit of wisdom, though it was another great sage, Lily Tomlin, who said it first. Forgiveness means giving up all hope of a better past. In order to get past regret, we have to be willing to forgive ourselves, not necessarily even because we deserve it, but because there is zero chance of a better past. Some moments in history are, in fact, uncorrectable. The guy with the lottery numbers, he's not getting that morning back to redo. Sometimes we have no choice but to grieve deeply. There's no way through it but through it. And then we can work toward forgiveness. One of the things I love so much about this season is how it normalizes our mistakes. We're all working on the same thing, making ourselves better, every one of us. Okay, we didn't take the dream job. We didn't speak up. We didn't pick up the phone to check on someone. We didn't realize how much damage we were doing. We didn't because we were too overwhelmed or too consumed in our own lives or too tired. Okay, we didn't. Or maybe we did. We had to choose between two lousy outcomes, so we picked one. We went for the momentary thrill. We told ourselves what we wanted to hear. We chose the path of least resistance. Okay, we did. When I was processing one of these failures once, an advisor back in Phoenix said to me, "Oh, turns out you're not the Mashiach either." And back on that first Knowles course, I learned an expression I'll never forget from Rick, my instructor, one of those superheroes. He said, "Good judgment comes from experience. Experience comes from bad judgment." It's a variation of what my friend Debbie Blinn tells her students. You learn much more from a wrong answer on a test than from a lucky guess. We're here to learn, right? We're in this lifetime to learn. One more point about changing the past. We can't make the past version of ourselves know everything that the present version of ourselves knows. In addition to missing out on that Knowles course, like everyone, I have more serious regrets, deeper regrets. I can think of a few times in my life, for example, when someone I really cared about could have used support. And for all kinds of reasons, I couldn't give it, or I didn't. I was closed off, ungenerous, small-minded. I didn't have it in me to be bigger. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I wasn't the person that I am now, which is actually great news. It doesn't mitigate the damage. We all have to deal with that. But it makes me wonder who I can be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. The only way to get there is by getting some of it wrong in order to get it right. Remember Genesis 6:6, God wishing God had never created humanity? The word for regret is vayinachem. That word also means comfort. You can't say regret in Hebrew without immediately going to comfort. It's true that the flood, that the flood God creates reflects God's initial impulse to rewrite the past, to destroy the whole project of creating the world as if it had never happened. However, even God eventually learns to settle into reality, move forward, not backward, and find comfort there. That's the meaning of the rainbow after Noah's Ark. It symbolizes the promise to never destroy humanity again. It's almost like God regrets acting so rashly on a regret. The point of the entire story is that we all have to learn to live in the experiment, in this great laboratory of screwing up and trying again. My friend Sandra Nassen says that Judaism is the religion of second chances. I think that's true. Can we transform our mistakes so they bring goodness to us and those around us? Can our boldness regrets, our foundational, moral, and connective blunders, can they point us to a better future? Can we remember what it felt like to not reach out, to play it safe? Can those memories tell us what to do next time? All of those ghosts hanging around our windows and our doors, can we ask them what we need to know and then bless them as they go on their way? Can we decide that we will use every single regret to grow and only to grow? Doing so might just make us superheroes, rock stars, after all. Shana Tova.
We turn now to page 149, and we rise for Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach la'adon hakol, la'tet yeduna le'otzem bereishit, shelo asanu
remain standing as our Holy Night concludes with memory. To begin our service, we invited up those who are mourning, those who are remembering, to light a candle in honor of their loved one. Many of those candles are still lit here. And these candles, these lights, are expressions of what we hold inside of our hearts. And so we want to invite you now to offer a name, to say the name of your loved one if you are remembering. Bring them into this space for us to support you, to offer love and care as you remember. So we'll invite you all now, if you have a name, to speak it. Zichronam Levracha, may all of their memories and their names and the impacts that they had on our lives be now and forever a blessing. We join together on page 151. Yitgadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach kirte ve'amlich malchute. B'chayachon uvyomechon uvchaye dechol beit Yisrael. Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekudasha b'richu. La'ela ula'ela mikol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiram be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Aseh shalom bimromav. Huya aseh shalom. Alenu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen.
Just a moment, we will conclude with Birkat Kohanim, a couple of brief reminders. First of all, thank you so much to our partners here and behind the scenes who prepared for this evening. Reminder to wear white, as is the tradition tomorrow. At 9 o'clock, the minyan will begin with all clergy in the sanctuary in the Miller Hall. In the chapel, at 11 o'clock, we'll be here. The prayer and activities events will continue throughout the day. Mincha begins at 3:15 and we'll go through Ne'ilah. I'd like to invite you now to, if you have a talit, go ahead and place it over your head. There's this beautiful custom that we cover our eyes when we do Birkat Kohanim, so that we just become this flow of endless, boundless love as we bless one another.
יברכך אדוני וישמרך.
Can you hear us song?
יאר אדוני פניו אליך ויחונך.
Can you hear us song?
יישא אדוני פניו אליך וישם לך shalom.
May God bless you and keep you. May God's face shine upon you. May God be gracious to you. May God's countenance be with you. May God grant you shalom, shlemut, wholeness, and peace.